Someone as incompetent and average as you becoming a surgeon, it seems the quality of doctors these days is deteriorating. Look, I graduated from Stanford, you know? I'm on a whole different level than you.
He said with a sneer. This man, Johnson, is my colleague.
You should also, as a doctor, try to improve your skills a little.
After saying his piece, he left the area with a satisfied smile. Phew, he finally left. Just as I thought that, someone patted me on the shoulder.
Don't worry about him, Dr. Keith.
Betty? It was Nurse Betty who tapped me on the shoulder. She's a veteran nurse, and also the head nurse who oversees all the nurses in this university hospital.
He doesn't like that you are so popular among your patients.
Huh, is that so?
Absolutely. He has a bad reputation for being cold and arrogant in his consultations, giving only sketchy explanations and not considering the patient's feelings.
Indeed, as Betty said, I have not heard much good about him, but I heard he's performed quite a number of operations.
How dare he say that? He only assists and has never been the primary surgeon. Moreover, they're all simple surgeries that any doctor should be able to do.
I gave a wry smile at her, who wrinkles her brow as she complains bitterly. The term assisting refers to the role of being the primary surgeon's first assistant. While not directly performing surgery, observing a lot of surgeries by the primary surgeon would certainly be a great learning experience. I shook my head to defend him. I also don't have much experience as a primary surgeon. As I said this, the frown on her face disappeared and a smile formed on her cheeks.
But you're doing great. You always treat your patients with a gentle and careful manner. And above all, your accurate diagnoses have led to early detections, saving many patients.
I'm only making decisions based on the situation. Hearing me say this, she puffed up her cheeks in dissatisfaction.
There you go again, your modesty. You should have more confidence.
While we were having this conversation, her pager beeped. It's a mobile phone for use in the hospital.
Oh, my pager is going off. I'll see you later.
Sure, see you? Betty told me to have more confidence, but I don't think I'm that special. Because I couldn't save the person I really wanted to save.
Keith, are you really going to be a doctor?
Yeah, I've told my parents and school. After graduating from high school, I'm going to medical school.
I wonder if you, who's afraid of blood, can do it.
I can do it, because I looked at her lying in front of me. She was connected to various tubes and lying down. When I told her, I'll do anything to cure your illness, she gave a sad smile.
Thank you.
Without facing seriously her making such a face, I thought only of my own dream, and simple honesty said, wait for me. I'll become a doctor who can cure any injury, any illness, even your illness, and gave a big smile in return. Seeing me say that, she looked surprised, but soon a gentle smile appeared on her face.
Okay, it's a promise. Be a doctor who can save not only me but also others.
Yeah, I promise. We made a pinky promise. While making the pinky promise, she cried. She cried while laughing.
I'm happy.
Saying that, she was crying and laughing. At that time, I didn't know. With little time left, I didn't know that day would be our last. While I was lost in the last memories with her, Betty rushed over to me. What's the matter, Betty?
An emergency patient is being rushed here in an ambulance right now.
What's their condition?
They've been in a car accident. There's an exposed head wound, and they are bleeding from the abdomen. They also have a fractured right leg, and the paramedics are giving them first aid.
An exposed head wound. Their organs might be ruptured. Clear an oar. While asking her to arrange the oar, Johnson showed up.
An emergency.
After asking that, he gave me a smirk as if he was making fun of me.
You're not cut out for this. I'll do the surgery.
Thus, it was decided that Johnson would perform the surgery, and I would assist. Somehow word spread that I, who rarely performed surgeries, am going into OR, and various parties from the university hospital gathered. But right now, I couldn't afford to care about who came. The patient who was hurriedly brought into the OR on a stretcher was covered in blood from both their head and abdomen, and their right leg was bent in an unnatural direction. This is terrible. Hang in there. I'll save you no matter what. Thinking that, I looked at Johnson standing next to me. Contrary to me, who wanted to save them at all costs, Johnson looked pale enough that it showed even through his mask. Dr. Johnson, when I called out to him, Johnson shook his head.
This is impossible. I didn't know it was this bad. This patient won't make it.
At his words, I felt my blood boil. They won't make it. How can you say that in front of a patient? Surprised by me, who usually don't raise my voice, Johnson fell down on his rear. Ignoring him, I let my emotions out and throw my thoughts into him. Don't decide before you try. What's the point of being a doctor if you give up so easily? There's a patient suffering right in front of us. You're not a doctor if you don't even try to save them. Johnson sat down, looking perplexed, but he kept staring into my eyes.
I'm sore.
He was probably trying to say I'm sorry. His voice was trembling. Judging that Johnson wouldn't be able to handle the current situation, I moved to where the operating surgeon stands. I'll do the surgery. When I declared that, he looked surprised.
What?
So please step aside, Dr. Johnson.
But you can't possibly do the surgery. You've only done a handful of operations. There's no way you could do such a difficult operation.
We don't have time to argue. Just step aside, Dr. Johnson. Overwhelmed by my determination, Johnson, still shaking, stood up and moved to where the spectators were. Let's get started. From that point, no one else's words reached my ears. I only listened to the necessary words.
That speed?
Of course, I didn't hear what Johnson was saying either.
He's in a different league.
At Johnson's words, one of the spectators watching in the corner responded.
You don't know
Professor.
Dr. Keith. He was top of his class at Harvard Medical School.
What, him?
Unaware of the exchange between Johnson and Professor, I only focus on the patient in front of me. I will save them. I decided that day. No matter the injury, no matter the disease, I will definitely save everyone. I promise to be that kind of doctor. So, watch me. Linda?
Dr. Keith. The patient in question is stable after surgery with no post-operative complications.
I see. That's good. Thank you, Betty. As Betty and I have this exchange, Johnson comes over with a displeased look on his face.
What the hell was that?
What do you mean? Not understanding what he meant, I tilted my head and he grabbed my collar, confronting me.
Don't play dumb. What was that? Divine skill. An ordinary person. I couldn't have saved them.
Johnson, letting go of my collar, dropped his arm down listlessly. He had a frustrated look on his face. I hadn't intended to cause such a reaction and was puzzled about what to do when Professor, who had come to observe, arrived.
I must say, that was impressive. To miraculously save someone from such a desperate situation. Truly a divine feat.
Professor was so complimentary that I blushed a little and shook my head, saying, "You're too kind, Professor." Then Johnson asked Professor a question.
Professor, you knew that he had such skills.
At that, Professor laughed out loud.
I'm the one who scouted him for this hospital. After graduating from Harvard Medical School, Dr. Keith practiced medicine in the States for 2 years. It was tough to get him to come back to Japan, but I heard he was researching a certain rare disease. We have cases of that rare disease in our university hospital, so I invited him to join us.
What? You didn't say a word about any of this.
Caught by surprise, Johnson blurted out at me, and I looked at him blankly. Well, you didn't ask.
Come on, top of your class at Harvard Medical School, scouted by Professor. Why didn't you mention any of this?
I wondered why I had to be questioned so intensely by him. After a bit of thought, I realized perhaps educational background and career history are important to him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made a point of mentioning that he graduated from Stanford University. So, I said to him, titles, that sort of thing doesn't matter to me. I want to save as many people as possible. That's all. Even after hearing this, he was still unsatisfied.
Then why? Why don't you do more surgeries as the primary surgeon?
Well, his question was certainly fair. As I struggled for an answer, Professor stepped in to explain on my behalf.
That's because Dr. Keith is operating on patients that only he can save. Although he has done fewer surgeries as the primary surgeon, each one was a severe and challenging case, but Dr. Keith managed to save them all.
Upon hearing that, Johnson began to tremble.
So you're telling me I'm not good enough to be on call for serious cases?
Professor, completely unfazed by Johnson's reaction, responded cheerfully, well, that's about right. After all, you weren't even able to perform surgery on that patient without falling flat on your butt, were you? Oh no. With that response, Johnson is only going to get angrier. Sure enough, glancing at Johnson, his face was as red as a tomato, looking like he might blow a gasket any second. But Professor just kept going, completely disregarding Johnson's state.
Dr. Keith is an excellent physician, and you, Johnson, are not entirely hopeless. You just need to work hard and strive to be like him.
With that, Professor said, I will take my leave, and walked away. Left behind were only myself, Betty, and Johnson. Johnson, looking awkward, as if he was recalling his earlier rudeness. Betty, however, oblivious to Johnson's discomfort, gave me a hearty pat on the shoulder.
Whoa, Dr. Keith, you graduated from Harvard Medical School, and you were top of your class.
Yes, well, it's nothing to boast about, really.
What are you talking about? It's definitely something to be proud of. It's way more impressive than any local university. No wonder your diagnoses are always spot on. I'm going to keep relying on you, Dr. Keith.
With that, she started hitting my back again. Once she finished thumping my back, she turned to Johnson and said, you should follow Dr. Keith's example, too, Dr. Johnson. Even Professor said you're not completely hopeless. Try harder. Betty, she's fearlessly straightforward. Even with his head down, I could almost feel the murderous aura emanating from Johnson.
Well, I have to go check on some patients now. Bye.
After Betty left, a low growl, lower than usual, came from Johnson. The voice was so deep that I let out a startled, whoa. Then, he turned towards me and pointed his finger sharply.
I won't lose to you, got that? I'll become such a good doctor that they won't need to call on you for surgeries.
Having said his piece, he stormed off, looking fired up. Seeing his determination made me chuckle. Well, as long as he's motivated. I need to keep doing my best, too. With that thought, I headed towards the examination room I was assigned to. Fast forward 3 years, I managed to establish a treatment for a particular difficult disease. It was the same disease that had taken Linda, my former girlfriend, from this world. I did it, Linda. Finally, I can help people suffering from the same disease as you. I really can save everyone now. Finally, all my hard work is being rewarded.
Dr. Keith, this research paper, it's undoubtedly going to change the world, and you'll be swamped with patients wanting you to operate on them. You'll hardly have a moment to rest. Are you sure you're okay with that?
When asked by Professor, I nodded without hesitation. That's why I became a doctor. I am Keith, a Harvard Medical School graduate, with first-class honors. I worked as a doctor in the US for 2 years after graduation. Now, I'm back in my home country, working as a doctor at a university hospital. My motivation to become a doctor was to help people suffering from injuries and diseases. By the way, you may wonder what happened to Johnson.
He's as unpopular as ever, that Dr. Johnson.
Seeing her sighing, I ask, "What happened, Betty?"
Oh, Dr. Keith. Listen to this. I had a patient complain about Dr. Johnson today.
That stuff. What was the complaint about? In the past, Johnson had often been complained about for being rude, or giving sloppy explanations, or not considering the patient's feelings. Is he still getting complaints? Just as I was letting out a wry smile, the words that came out of Betty's mouth were completely unexpected.
They're saying his smile is scary.
Smile, scary?
Exactly. His smile is so bad, it made a child cry during a vaccination.
That's a complaint I've never heard before. Well, I said with a gentle smile, he's doing his best in his own way. I can't slack off just because I've established a treatment for Linda's rare disease. There are still many rare diseases in the world that haven't been solved yet. I want to find treatments for them as well. I have to keep doing my best to keep my promise to Linda.